What's up YouTube, Rich UX here from Rich+Niche.com. Maybe you watched my last video about Karter, who is one of my students who quadrupled his income as a digital marketer in under a year. I want you to watch this great interview between me and him and hear about his story and how he did it. You all here for collective call number 81 featuring Karter Mackey. 4x'd his income in a short period of time, has been a very diligent student, taken all my courses, joined my workshops, spent time with me privately, and we've spoken at length many times. And I think, that is what it takes these days to really advance quickly. I think my courses are very impactful and that's great, but I do think there is something to having instant feedback from a mentor and also just knowing someone's looking out for you and you could take more chances. So I think it's been a really good relationship and a good sort of arc for your journey. And I hope many others consider taking that approach as well, connecting with me, and, seeing how we can accelerate things. That's what people really want, transformation, acceleration. Let's introduce and bring up into the call Karter Mackey. Man, Karter. Karter, tell us a little bit about how you got into digital marketing. Tell us about your last job, and then transition into where you are now. That'll be wonderful.
Well, I got into digital marketing quite a while ago, but I didn't really take it too seriously until I actually bought one of your courses, and then I kind of piqued my interest even more. So that's really, how I got started. I just kept on moving on from there and there. But my interview, I want to get into that because that was crazy. So I had 3 rounds of interviews. The first one was kind of just to get to know me, basic questions on why I'd be great for the company, that type of stuff. The second interview, I tried to sell myself. They wanted me to basically say, how can I improve the company? And I told them that, I have good knowledge in all areas. And that's thanks to Rich's courses, because he goes in depth about, everything digital marketing related. Then the third round interview came, and this was very intense because they gave me hypothetical scenarios on how I would improve these accounts. And I applied for a paid media specialist role. So it was all paid media related. So it was Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn. They gave me hypothetical accounts and they asked me how I would improve them. So not only did I tell them how I would improve them through, various split tests, making a negative keywords, different split tests with like copy, headline, different videos, images, like that sort of stuff. I kind of gave them more knowledge in other areas too. So I kind of brought in the lead magnet example. I was like, hey, a good way to grab more, business, is to create a lead magnet. And that's something I learned in Rich's courses. And it's so simple. And so I brought that in. I was like, hey, why don't we create an email or a lead magnet so we can capture their email and market them on the back end. And so I think they were kind of surprised when I told them like I knew certain steps of the funnel, and not only just paid media, I had these different avenues that transitioned to help paid media out. Because if you understand the whole process, you'll understand logistically how things are supposed to work. So they ended up hiring me. It's a hell of an upgrade from what I was doing. I was only making $500 every 2 weeks because originally I was actually working for free at this other company, and then they hired me part-time. I was making $500 every 2 weeks. Now this company is paying me $1,000 a week. So it's, as Rich said, if you watch this video, I 4x my revenue or my pay. So yeah, I'm liking the job so far. I just completed my 2nd week and I couldn't be happier.
It's funny you went for the paid media specialist. No, I'm not funny for you, but I rarely talk about paid media. I am such a organic marketer, a content marketer, and I have often not marketed that specifically, often going for the digital marketing terminology. But why did you choose paid media specifically?
I guess paid media kind of intrigued me the most out of everything. And I feel like once you understand each platform and how, to implement sort of paid media strategies, that can transition to a bunch of different things that I want to do in the future, whether it's like, affiliate marketing or helping out local businesses around my area when I eventually want to own my own agency. So I figured paid media, not only would it help me for my future goals, but it would help me for it was what interests me the most, I'd say. So it not only helped me for my future goals, but it interests me the most.
Let's talk a little bit about your job hunting process. How did you find that company? Were you looking at other companies? How did that process go for you?
Yeah, well, let me take a step back at how I applied to the first company I was at. Um, so I wanted to get my feet wet in the digital marketing landscape. And so I figured, okay, agencies, I want to try to work in an agency. So how am I going to try to do that? So I did look on LinkedIn. I applied to a couple places on LinkedIn, but I was like, why don't I try talking to the CEO directly? I was like, how am I going to do that? So what happened was I downloaded this Chrome extension called hunter.io. And anytime you visit a website, you use the Chrome extension and it'll pull up emails related to that website. So a lot of the time, the CEO's email would come up for different websites I visited. So I crafted a message to each individual CEO, messaged them directly saying, "Hey, I want to get my feet wet in the industry. I'll work for free." And eventually, someone hired me. And so I worked there for a little bit, and then they ended up hiring me part time, where I was getting that $500 every 2 weeks. So it was a great start. I got to get my hands on different campaigns, I understood a little bit of structure, and then I had a little bit of context on certain things because of Rich's trainings. So I took that knowledge and put it into my first, agency uh, job. Then they kept me at part time for a while. So I was like, okay, they're not going to hire me full time, which I think is a mistake on their part. And so I was like, okay, where am I going to work next? And so I went on LinkedIn and I started applying to different places. I told them about how I've taken your courses, how I'm knowledgeable in all areas, and just tried to really sell myself. And then this next company, I guess, took notice of that. So yeah, I sent them my resume, everything, whole 9 yards, and they ended up getting back to me. And then I had that first round interview, and then it went from there. And now I'm working for that company, making substantially more money, and I couldn't be happier.
Question from the chat: was your first job remote, and is your second job remote?
Correct.
Briefly.
Yep. They're both remote. I kind of lucked out in that area. Yeah, I've tried to make them remote because I wanted to, live the remote lifestyle. And that's kind of what Rich preaches. So I was like, I gotta gotta follow my mentor steps. So yeah, both of them were remote. The second one I made sure was remote. And it's funny because I actually applied to their facility that's in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm in Michigan. So that is, several over like 24 hours driving distance. So it's, a long ways. So I work at their Atlanta, Georgia office remotely. And yeah, I couldn't be happier because it's a great opportunity. And I get to work remote and, live that remote lifestyle.
About the resume, first of all, do you have a college degree, university degree?
I do.
What's your
Although
major?
I have a marketing degree from Central Michigan University. Um, I would say that degree honestly didn't really help. I learned everything from your courses and YouTube videos, and I leveraged that knowledge to get where I am today. And I think the degree aspect, it can be good on paper, but it's definitely not essential at all. Like I said, I learned everything from your courses, and it's given me the knowledge I have today, and I'm very grateful for that. And so if you're someone who's trying to, I guess, decide on, I don't know if this is going to be, right, if this is going to be a YouTube video or anything, but if you're someone who's trying to decide if you should, go to college or try to, buy some courses and like try to learn on your own, then I would strongly suggest, and this is a suggestion, I'm not telling you to do it, that you buy courses first, understand how to make money, and then if you don't like it, then try to go into some college degree. Because if I could go back and redo it, I would, because a college degree is good on paper, but it was definitely not what I needed.
Just slow it down. I mean, what did you do in college? Did you party? Did you study? Did you care about getting good grades? Like, what kind of person were you there? Because I just want to sense why you feel that way about it.
um I mean, it was a good mixture. I bartended through college, so every
I think
Friday.
that says enough right there, my man. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty clear what you.
yeah. So
Yeah, okay, keep going, keep going.
yeah, every Friday and Saturday I was at the bar bartending. So, you know, here and there was fun to, drink and, have a good time. But I definitely did study too. But a lot of it was basic marketing concepts and stuff that really isn't used in the real world. Like I remember one time we were talking about like radio ads and billboard ads, and I kind of saw that how we were moving more towards a digital age, and that those are becoming less and less relevant, and no one was really talking about digital marketing and how to perfect digital marketing in itself. So I knew that it just didn't interest me as much, so I kind of just went through the motions, got the degree, and then I was like, okay, where do I go from here? And that's when I was taking your courses, learning more, and here we are today.
What does the money do for you mentally now? Like, how does that change you or how you operate at this time with such a
Recording in
substantial?
progress.
um oh, I think I'm echoing. Okay, we're good. Yeah, well, at first the money wasn't the main concern for me. I wanted to get my feet wet in the industry to really understand if I liked it. And I did. And that's why I wanted to work for free to start with, to get my hands on some of these accounts, understand what goes on in agencies, like how does the whole structure go. And, that happened. And, it led me to, led me where I am today. And, I would suggest to anyone that you work for free, see if you like it. Do you say pro bono work, and just do that, see if you like it, and then just try to, progress from there. And that's what I did. And, now I'm at a kick-ass career. So I'm going to take the knowledge, I'm going to keep on learning, from you in the future and from this job I have. And I'm going to transition it into other things that are going to make me more money. So, understanding your courses, the whole digital marketing landscape, how things tie in together logistically, it has helped me out substantially, for where I'm at today.
Did you ever mention the word full stack on your resume or during the interviews?
I think I referenced full stack, but I may have said jack of all trades, and they liked that. They're like, oh, okay. And so I can't remember specifically if I said full stack digital marketer, but I did take those practices into the interview. think you're frozen.
I'm just wondering if sort of my students, use that terminology because I'm struggling with it today. I mean, I liked it when I first came out with it. I think it was interesting, but as I try to broaden beyond the niche marketers that are following me, I do wonder about that terminology because it isn't the standard terminology. I'm sort of fudging from the developer community, and I still get apply. Full stack actually really means make all the bookings, the lead gen happen in the background. So that's some clarity for people there. Now, it looks like my internet's stable, and connection's a little unstable. Hopefully we through this. Carter, you told me that your new job, you're going to be working with speak to how you feel.
Hey, Rich, I couldn't understand everything that you said there. I heard that working at my job, so I'll kind of just describe my job a
Hold on,
little
hold
bit.
on, hold on. Let's just
Okay.
hold up. It's a very specific question. Can you speak to the feeling of being about to take on, and I don't know if you've started yet, but $70,000 a month ad budgets from 2,000 a month, what you're used to? Like, how do you feel about that? And tell me about sort of that in the sense of what your job responsibilities are going to be. Like, that's a big jump. And how does your managers or team look at you, and just, are they just giving it to you? Will there be sort of a laddering in there? Just speak to that a bit.
There will definitely be some laddering in there because since I've started out with smaller budgets, they got to kind of get me up to speed on, budgets that are, upwards of 70K and beyond. So it'll be a little bit of a learning experience. I'm going to shadow some people. I'm shadowing right now, and they want me to give my suggestions on campaigns that they're currently running. But overall, it's excited me a lot because working with those small budgets, it's not as fun. You don't get to play around with uh certain directions really. It's like, okay, this is clear cut. We're just going to do this because it's a very small budget. Now with these bigger budgets, there's more testing involved. There's bunch of different aspects that, give you the chance to do the things that you really couldn't do when you're working with smaller budgets. So that whole aspect has excited me a lot. And I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on these accounts and working with some high profile people. I mean, working from 2 grand a month, say like Google versus, 80K a month for Google, it's a heck of an upgrade. And, I don't take it lightly. And again, I've said it, I'm very excited to be a part of it. And, it's going to bring me even more knowledge. And yeah, couldn't stress enough how excited I am about it.
Experience is everything. You can imagine what it's like to work on a big account. You can imagine what it's like to run 10 campaigns at once, but until you've done it, right? And so, yeah, this experience will take you into a top 3% marketer level. I think that a lot of our students are definitely in the top 20% of marketers in the world. But once you get into that sort of 5 digit a month management, I think it's very rare that people get to do that. Looks like there's a question in the chat. Are you looking for specific areas of growth at your job? And if so, what are
Specific areas of growth. I wouldn't say in particular. I mean, I just got hired in. If you're referencing kind of like personal growth or just growth in general, I just got in. And so I'm just really going to focus on that paid media side and really understand logistically how all that works with huge budgets. Because again, it's a heck of a difference working with $2,000 a month versus $80,000 a month. And, just taking to that account, I'm really just focusing on the paid media side. But I hope that answers your question. That's a difficult question, I'd say.
I think that's appropriate at this stage. I'm sure you will, but I think that's the appropriate answer. Next question in the chat is this a company you think you can grow with, or do you have your sights set on a bigger company or full-time freelance or something else?
That's a good question. I think right now the play for me is to just learn as much as I can from this agency, and they have mentioned growth opportunities, and which is very attractive because, you know, from what I've heard, they are pretty quick with the promotions that they give out. So I've definitely thought about staying here, but then I really think about long term and short term. I think working with them is the play. Long term, I eventually want to start my own stuff. Um, I see working when I want to work and not having like a 9 to 5 sort of thing. No, there's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. It's just eventually I don't see myself doing that. And I feel myself doing more deliverable work. It's like if I just finish it, it's done and they pay me upfront right there. So eventually I want to do my own sort of freelance gig. But right now the play is to stay with this agency, learn as much as I can, and we'll take it from there.
My advice would be to combine all those ideas in the sense that don't just grow with your salary, grow with your capability and responsibility and accountability levels. So 6 months from now, you say to them, guys, I want to be off the clock. I will still meet all the needs, but if I don't want to come at 9 or be online at 9, I just need that. And that can trump a raise in many cases. So keep that in mind. And you said your own stuff. Let's talk about that. I mean, not just doing campaigns and paid media work. Are you going to get into your own personal brand? Do you want to have any channels? What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I eventually want to open my own sort of local lead generation agency. That's like the avenue that interests me the most, is helping out my community, and which I think is a huge aspect I think everyone should really go up towards. But yeah, I think eventually I want to open my own lead generation agency. Not too specific right now, but that's the end goal for me. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to add there really. So eventually I want to, obviously open my own agency. It's don't want to work for someone, for too long. Because you want to live your life on your own terms and you want to do things on your own terms. And eventually that's what I want to do.
We are being graced by the gas salesman. Basically, they call you by microphone to let them know they're selling gas, or maybe they're selling tacos. I don't know. Oh, it's coconuts. It's a coconut salesman. All right, that's how they do it out here. Whether they got ceviche or coconuts or gas, it's just like you drive around and you use the microphone to let everyone know. Sorry about that, guys, but that's just how they roll out here. Next question. How long did you work pro bono before you started getting paid?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I can't remember specifically at the top of my head, but I want to say it was around 3 months. So it was a good while. I think once I showed them my knowledge in certain areas, they were like, okay, we'll hire you part-time, take it from there. And so, yeah, I'd say it was roughly around 3 months.
Pretty reasonable. And I don't think it should be much more than that, right? I mean, if people aren't recognizing it as worth value at that time, you really got to see what's going on. They're either taking advantage or they don't know what is value. Great, Carter. That's a pretty well-rounded storytelling. I think that we really covered a lot of the aspects. Um, I think that's all I really want to cover with you. Do you have anything, final thoughts, or anything to ask me, or anything else before we kind of wrap up this segment?
Yeah, well, I see there's one more question, so I'll answer that. It's, how did you focus on, or what did you focus on first that got you the most results? And I think the first course I bought was Rich's funnels course, full stack marketing funnels. That gave me the knowledge to understand like exactly what a funnel is, because I never even knew what a funnel was. So once you understand that like everything is in some sort of funnel and the ultimate goal is to get someone to purchase something or purchase your services, you'll get a better understanding in general, logistically, what are the goals for these different companies that you're going to be working with? Because again, everything is in its own funnel. So I would definitely focus on trying to just learn the concepts of funnels. And then the next course I would say was the consulting course that you had. So I mean, I could go down the list of each individual course, but I would say try to understand the funnels course. That was the one that I first took, and it was very, 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 very powerful.
Selling the idea of funnels has been a giant pain in the ass, in my opinion. Because it's such a odd concept, and it really comes from this ClickFunnels sort of world. People are sometimes put off by it. And that course is so much more than funnels. It really covers many of the elements of digital marketing, email copy. I mean, the lead magnet section is kind of worldly on its own. I really need to break it out because I'm concerned that I'm not delivering to people what they think they sort of need. And so they go into these more expensive, just blander marketing, sort of digital marketing skills. And that's an interesting, I'm glad you kind of share that that's an impactful course. And I think a lot of people buy that course because they trust me. They see what's going on YouTube and they're like, well, this was his main course, first course. I'm just going to jump in. It was actually easier when that was my only course because I think people just got it, that it would be sort of very foundational. But I struggle with it today still. And I think about it all the time on how to approach that. That's great, Carter. Appreciate you answering all those questions.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And may the algorithms be ever in your favor.